or go horseback riding on the beach. And you can't forget about all the fun on the bay. South Padre Island has so much to do for the whole family. Book your summer getaway today. Visit SoPadre.com.
Kenny Perez came from a small town in Texas. At Kenny Perez Law, we won't stop fighting until our clients get what's rightfully theirs. We're right by your side, no matter what. Call Kenny Perez Injury Lawyers today, 956-999-1111.
Rev up your future with Texas Southmost College's Auto Body Repair Program. In just 2 semesters, you'll gain the skills to become an auto body repair specialist. Learn using industry standard iCar Academy to get you job ready fast. If you're ready to drive your career forward, TSC's Auto Body Repair Program is the place to start. Classes are filling fast, so visit tsc.edu and apply today.
Hello sports fans, I'm Jason Starkey with Gallery Homes.
Here at Gallery, we make building your new home simple and stress-free. From sales to selections, we handle every step so you can enjoy the journey to your new home. This is Gallery, where your dreams become reality.
Time to take a new look, maybe your first look at Buick. If smart, hip, and affordable is for you, Buick's your brand. Fruya Buick, Brownsville, Texas.
Permatemp Personnel Services has been servicing local businesses for the past 29 years.
Leave the hiring to us. Let us become your personal hiring guru.
We have a network of skilled employees to fit your needs.
Your success is our strategy.
Don't hesitate, call us now.
No matter where you are in life, Texas Southmost College is here to help you move forward. Whether you're starting fresh, changing careers, or gaining new skills, TSC has affordable programs designed to fit your goals. It's time to take the next step. Think big. Think bright. Think TSC.
South Padre Island. Enjoy endless activities for all ages. Then dance the night away with live music, savor fresh seafood, and discover unique food trucks and shop our charming boutiques. What are you waiting for? Escape the everyday at South Padre Island.
At Tortilleria Ibañez, flavor starts fresh every day. crispy flautas, homemade tamales, and our signature chicken salad, all made for you. Tortilleria Ibañez, tradition on every plate.
Kenny Perez came from a small town in Texas. At Kenny Perez Law, we won't stop fighting until our clients get what's rightfully theirs. We're right by your side, no matter what. Call Kenny Perez Injury Lawyers today, 956-999-1111.
Mic check, 1, 2, test, test. Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2, test, test. Mic check, 1, 2.
Check, testing, testing, check, check. Check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, mic, check, mic. Chest test. Can you hear me?
Hmm? Okay. Oh, but yours is on. Mine's off. Mic check, 1, 2. Test, test. Mic check, 1, 2.
My plan. I say lob it to Ryan Perez in the paint off a couple of screens.
Esquivel to Garcia. Off the deflection. Los Fresnos comes back and wins. Now Santa Maria will put up a three. Bang! Santa Maria.
There's Warner. Here comes a headed jam. Counted for 2. Field. Adios! And the Falcons win on a walk-off. And it's saved. What a game.
Smacked to the left. That is gone.
Lob for Perez. That's my play. Off the backboard. Counting and a win. And a win. Ryan Perez wins the game for the Santa Rosa Warriors, and they go nuts. And why not?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sam's Memorial Stadium here in Brownsville, Texas. And we have a 4 p.m. matchup here between the Golden Eagles of Brownsville, Hanna against the Bloodhounds of St. Joe. And we are currently at 85 degrees, maintaining the same temperature from our last matchup between La Jolla and Laredo United. And joining me on this broadcast, we have Kevin.
How's it going?
It's going awesome, Kevin. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And as we take a look at both these teams here, first we'll be taking a look at the Brownsville St. Joe's side. Of course, they had the matchup earlier this morning at 9 a.m., had an unfortunate loss against Brownsville Veterans 8-0. Meanwhile, the Golden Eagles of Brownsville Hanna, led by head coach Reyes Prado, fell short against Laredo LBJ 2-1. So both these teams coming in here late this afternoon, trying to get their first victory here at this showcase.
Absolutely, and it's a little bit of a different look this year because the last few years this was a tournament, and we had bracket play and pool play, and but this year it's just a simple showcase, 4 games in and out, and for these teams really to just kind of understand where they're at. And obviously, St. Joe's in a very different spot from these UIL teams because they've been playing soccer for over a month now. And a lot of these UIL schools are just now getting their season underway, and they're figuring out their lineups, figuring out everything a team would be needing to figure out in the preseason. So 2 different tales from these 2 programs.
Yeah, and I had mentioned to our cameraman here, many of these teams here at the showcase really just trying to find that team chemistry, really trying to figure out, what are some good viable options we have here to attack, get some goals through, figure out which of our players have the top defenders here. But it should be a good one here. It looks like St. Joe will be kicking off to start the first half here. And what I could anticipate being a really good matchup between these 2 schools. St. Joe in the all-red jerseys this time around. Meanwhile, Brownsville Hanna in the white jerseys and the yellow shorts. And I'll talk a little bit about both these teams in just a second. Meanwhile, the whistle's blown, and here we go. And we'll talk about St. Joe again. I mentioned this earlier this morning. St. Joe, led by head coach Edgar Tovar, made it to the state championship last year, to my knowledge. Fell short against Bullard Brookhill 4-0, but won the championship last year and won Austin St. Michael 1-0. And then, of course, in 2023, fell short against Legacy Christian 2-0. So this is a very consistent state championship caliber team.
So we actually have a new head coach this year. His name is Edward Rojas. So it's his first year here at St. Joe as the head soccer coach. Tovar was the head coach last year.
Got it.
And you're right, this is a team that they've been to the state championship game the last 3 years. And, you talk about that and just the level of play this team has had, the productivity, the expectation. And I always tell people, it's one thing to make the state tournament. It's another thing to go and win a game at the state tournament and then compete on the last day for the state championship. And there's still a couple of guys, we can get into it later. You can go ahead and ask me when you're ready on who's still back from that state championship team.
A few years back.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. Yeah, so this year it's heavy freshmen. There's so much talent on this team, that we can dive into later throughout the broadcast. But certainly, whether it's a new head coach or not, there's Johnny there.
And actually gets on one just outside on the right side, so it will be Brownsville Hanna getting it from the goal kick.
The expectation stays the same.
Yeah, and St. Joe being the only school being a non-UIL team, I think this really helps them set up a lot of great success in their season, of course.
For sure.
And, playing these high-caliber teams from Brownsville, as we know, one of the top cities when we talk about soccer in the Rio Grande Valley. Playing these tough matchups like Brownsville Veterans here right now with Brownsville Hanna, and then tomorrow they have a matchup with Edinburgh Economedes, who were, I believe, district champions last year.
They're a very good team out of 31-6A, out of my hometown. I know they love their soccer there at Economedes. 2 weeks ago, when the kids let out for Christmas break, we took on Brownsville Lopez. So St. Joe embraces the underdog role. They love to take on these big schools any chance we get.
Meanwhile, Brownsville Hanna trying to get something through on offense, but quickly gets interrupted by number 3 of St. Joe. I believe that's Ezequiel Escamilla, who did really well in the last game as well.
He's a senior.
And Brownsville Hanna continued to get something going, but keep going back into the end of their defensive line. Now try to create something there in the middle. And we'll get quickly picked up. No, it's going to be back to Hanna. as they try to get something set up here now for the Golden Eagles. Go for a long shot, and will go far out to the left, so it'll be a goal kick now for St. Joe.
It's going to be Pablo Escobar. He's getting the start as the keeper. So we'll see how Pablo does. He was a football player in the fall. He's also a senior for Coach Rojas.
And now switching things over a little bit over to the Brownsville Hanna side, like I mentioned, in 32-6A. Didn't do so well in district play, went without a victory last year. And just a little fact about Brownsville Hanna, apart from Coach Prado being my uncle.
That's awesome.
His first year coaching these boys was back in 2012-2013 year after a long-time head coach. Can't remember his name top of my head. Juan de Dios Garcia, I believe is his name. Left the program, retired after many, many years coaching Brownsville Hanna. First year head coach for Brownsville Hanna, made it all the way to the state finals, and of course fell short against Capel. His first year with the boys, so before that he was with the girls soccer program for many years. So now this is entering his 9th year as the head boys soccer coach for Brownsville Hanna. Meanwhile, Hanna trying to get that free kick through, won't get it. And St. Joe now with an opportunity to counter here. Hanna's just going to sweep that one outside. It would be a throw-in for St. Joe.
Yeah, one thing you talked about earlier is about, you know, the competition here in Brownsville. I've always in my media years, this is my going into my 15th year, I've always said that Brownsville is the capital of soccer in the state of Texas.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I covered, you know, the 2015 team in Rivera that won state.
Oh, yeah. And I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Porter the year after, 2016.
Porter the year after. So that year, Porter played Pace in the region final.
Yeah, I remember
at Cabinus. And that was
and I wish they brought that one in Brownsville. How crowded this place would have been here at Sam Stadium or elsewhere, right? Had that been here. As St. Joe now looking for an attack here on offense. Lob it a bit too far on the right side, and it's going to be an offsides call here. So it's going to go for a free kick for Brownsville Hanna.
Yeah, and the thing, too, is that the kids, the communities, they take pride in that. A couple of weeks ago, Victor and Jammer hosted the Media Day for soccer, and I was lucky enough to be able to host the show. And I was asking those kids from Porter, from Pace, from Lopez, like, what does it mean to you for me to tell you that Brownsville is the soccer capital of Texas? And they said that they take pride in it. Yeah. They love it, and they're not surprised. And you know, it's just the Region 4 itself is just a juggernaut.
Yeah, and one of the things I brought up earlier today with my cameraman is like, hey, that San Antonio Reagan Veterans game is definitely a game to look out for. It's really not only going to show what Brownsville can do as a city as a whole, but really just show, hey, we can compete with these guys from San Antonio, from Austin, from Houston, you know, these other, you know, big programs that UIL already has in store for them, you know, and really just continuing that great push that not just Brownsville but the Valley can really do for the sport.
You know, it's funny you say that. Are you going to be able to call that Veterans Reagan?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll be here.
It's going to be here? Okay.
Yeah.
I saw Reagan today at the 1 o'clock game.
Yeah, Edinburgh North.
Yeah, my cousin's the goalie for Edinburgh North.
Oh, nice.
So I went down to the sports park to go watch him. And hey, I'll tell you this much. I saw Veterans this morning. I saw Reagan earlier. I wasn't too impressed with Reagan.
Oh, wow.
Respectfully.
Right.
Having seen the two, and I know Reagan's ranked #1 and Veterans is ranked #6 respectively, but I don't know. I think, you know, if I'm you, I'd be excited to see that matchup too.
Definitely.
But I
it's
think
going to be a late game, and I'm sure a lot more fans will be here for that one.
Yeah.
As Brownsville Hanna now goes for the free kick, gets it blocked by the wall of Bloodhounds. Second chance opportunity doesn't connect. As Longoria try to get that one through, won't get it. And officials will let that one play on. And Hanna now looking for a setup here. Bermudez driving it up to the right-hand side, lobs it inside the middle here. Picked up by St. Joe. As Hanna now is just going to go deep in their own and just try to pass to the goalkeeper, but a miscue there is going to force a corner kick for St. Joe and an opportunity for them to score here.
Yeah, you saw it this morning. You know, they didn't have many opportunities offensively, so I know Coach Rojas is eager to get that offense going. They got to figure the pieces out. I mean, we've already started district play. We 1-0. Picked up a win against Laredo.
Yeah.
They have a district match on Tuesday at home, so.
Nice. And I'm sure we'll be streaming that one as well.
Yes,
Yeah, so
we
you're
will.
definitely going to want to tune in for that one. As Brownsville Hanna now trying to move the ball up on their end on a fast break here, as we have a 3-on-3 matchup now lined up here. That's going to be Liscano with the ball, tries to shake him off, but goes back in their favor. Murga with the long distance shot, blocked by St. Joe. And try to clear that one away, gets it up in the sky. Not much too far there, and St. Joe now in control. And Hanna will step over and take over here, and they'll look to push this ball over. Quick pass inside to Bettis. Bettis, a bit too far for him, out of reach, recovered by St. Joe. And they'll return the same thing, too far out of reach. Valdez feeds it inside to Bermudez, but gets met up by the Bloodhound defender. They'll be able to control the ball as they send it far out. And a miscue there by Hanna defender there. Gives St. Joe an opportunity here as they get closer here. An opportunity for a goal here. Goes through the net for a goal for St. Joseph.
All right. It's JJ Camorlinga with a goal.
And it is Carmolinga with the goal there for St. Joseph. Being able to counter off the miscue there from the Hanna defender, giving him that one-on-one with the goalie and be able to score there as we take a look at the replay. Hanna trying to push it back in the defensive end of things. Had a miscue on the control there.
It's a good pass.
Yeah, nicely delivered just behind the defender there for Carmolinga to score for St. Joe. And now another opportunity here potentially for St. Joe.
You know, and that's big for the Bloodhounds. You get rocked this morning, 8-0. To Brownsville veterans, and if you know St. Joe well enough, you know that anytime veterans and St. Joe play, it's a friendly rivalry right there. So I'm looking forward to seeing the resiliency from these kids and how they respond. They had all day to think about it.
Oh yeah,
they had their game at 9 a.m. They had enough time to go home, take a nap, get some lunch, and that's just a very good start for this team.
Meanwhile, Brownsville Hanna trying to come back here from this deficit. I'm sure they're not wanting a 0-2 start here in this showcase, as that will roll out of bounds. And the officials getting together with some of the players there. And it looks like it'll be a foul on St. Joe, so it'll be a free kick for Hanna at the football 20-yard line, which is about a 30-yard distance between the spot of the ball and the potential goal here. And it'll be number 10 for Brownsville Hanna, Mauricio Perez, lining up for the kick here. As St. Joe builds a four-man wall here to deflect this kick here. Won't get it, but gets a deflection. Brownsville Hanna had the ball there. Ricochets off the chest and on the outside there as they look for a second chance here. Nice shot there for Hanna for the goal. A nice put in there by number 7, Bermudez for Brownsville Hanna.
That is an impressive kick. One of the more impressive goals you'll see all year. There's not a lot the keeper can do there.
And that was a great second effort there following the deflection there. You'll see he'll roll back to the side, kind of set himself up there on the corner there and just puts it neatly on the corner there of that goal.
You call that a banger?
I call that a big banger. But it's a tie nonetheless. Brownsville St. Joe and Brownsville Hanna tied 1 apiece. And we actually got to see a really awesome bicycle kick goal from Laredo United, which was really nice. They had a 3-1 lead the last game we got to cover, and then La Jolla with a near comeback ended up tying that game 3 apiece. But if you go back and see that last minute of that game, you'll see Laredo United block 2 potential game-winning goals, not allowing La Jolla to make a comeback. So that game ended in a tie. But that was a really good game. If you have an opportunity to go back and watch that one was a great one that we got to cover.
And Pablo, he's a tall kid. I know he may not look like it from here, but he is a tall dude. And for that ball to sail over his fingertips in that top right corner, shout out to AJ, too, on the camera work there.
St. Joe being able to beat the one-on-one matchup there, now trying to set it up again. As that one will awkwardly come off the Hanna defender. A little bit of a push there. Officials let that one play on. And now they'll feed it in the middle here. Hanna with an opportunity now. Gets blocked by St. Joe. Backwards pass doesn't connect, and that'll give Hanna an opportunity to set up. Longoria swings it out to the right. Back to Longoria. Longoria met up one-on-one, trying to find somebody. Gets met by a duo of Bloodhounds, and now St. Joe with the ball. Again, if you're just joining us, Brownsville Hanna just scores off a nice corner goal shot there, which will tie the game up 1 apiece, as both teams are looking to get their first victory here at the BISD 43rd Annual Boys Soccer Showcase. And a substitution now being made for St. Joe. Number 17, I don't have him listed in my roster.
It's Meme Ibarra. A sophomore.
And they'll bring him in for St. Joe, looking to attack for another goal here. And that ball will roll out of bounds. Now, one thing I did mention at the first game, I noticed that there's only 2 officials for these showcase matches. Typically, there's a 3-man crew.
Okay.
So it's going to be something interesting to watch, especially for offsides, out of bounds, tough contested, fighting for the ball here and there. So a little harder for the officials to kind of get an eye on, but of course, still trying to officiate the best way they can. Because you usually have one in the middle, and then of course you have your flaggers, but in this case it's only a 2-man crew for the showcase.
It's a lot of games to cover for these officials.
Oh yeah, and then the morning crew, they did 3 back-to-back games, and AJ and I had a little bit of fatigue going into lunchtime here before this matchup, and thankfully they got a new crew.
But shout out to you guys. You guys have been here all day, man.
And we'll be here all day tomorrow as well, covering more games here at Stadium. Meanwhile, St. Joe get another header in, and that'll be a goal for St. Joe.
I think that was Johnny Cardona who got that header in, the senior. A good way to respond. It's an excellent way to respond. I mean, you saw Hanna come back and get their banger, but Johnny's known for those headers, man.
And some early strikes from both these teams. Only 15 minutes in, and 3 goals have been made, and we'll show that replay in just a little bit. Meanwhile, Hanna quickly kicks it back off and try to get themselves reset here. Now, I don't know how it was at the sports park, but from the 3 games we've been able to cover so far, we've seen very little to no penalties in regards to yellow cards, red cards, anything like that.
That's good.
So it's been pretty clean games throughout these matchups we've been able to cover. So it's really good to see, these players, especially the UIL schools, not getting too jittery and making these, how do I say it? Mistakes, I would say, early on in the season. St. Joe with a long attempt there. Goes far off on the left-hand side. That'll be a goal kick for Hanna.
So Essa is also the kicker in football.
Is he?
Yep. So he's, he kind of just does it all. He's a receiver, plays a little bit of DB, and he's also the kicker.
Yeah.
And he also plays soccer. So he's a 4-year starter. He's actually one of the few kids back from that state championship team. Him, Johnny Cardona, Alejandrito Gonzalez, and I believe that is it, Nacho.
Yeah, and those are all names I mentioned in the other game as well. When St. Joe was trying to create some opportunities at the Vets game. Meanwhile, Hanna moving the ball here with Murga. Murga failed to connect, but he'll quickly get his own ball back as he tries to set up for another goal. Too far up, and that'll be out of bounds as it hits the goalpost of the football. Goalpost, I should say. That it does constitute an out of bounds. So it'll be a goal kick for St. Joe. That'll roll out of bounds. St. Joe will throw in.
I believe Oscar Jagielski was also on that state championship team. He's a senior as well.
Gotcha. Number 9, I have him on the roster. Meanwhile, putting some pressure on the defender here and not allowing that to be touched. That's going to roll out of bounds, and that should be a goal kick for Brownsville Hanna. Some other matchups going on right now here at the showcase. We have Pace going up against Mackay at the Brownsville Sports Park, along with Laredo Nixon going up against Porter, which was the game we previously had scheduled here at the stadium, and then this morning got switched to this one. And then Corpus Christi Vets, who we got to see earlier, against Brownsville Nevada, going up against Harlingen South at the Sports Park. Hanna with a chance to convert here to tie the game up here. Takes it by himself over some defenders here. Hesitated and decided to pass it back here. Not able to force that one through. And Golden Eagles will have to reset here.
Yeah, Hanna had him beat.
I thought he was going to maybe lob it up over the goal. He doesn't. As the shot attempt goes through and far to the left. So it'll be a goal kick now for St. Joe. As we near the halfway point of the first half, I would have liked to see a bit more urgency on the Brownsville Hanna side, really allowing a little bit too many miscues, you know, failing to get short passes through, and of course the error they had, which ultimately resulted in St. Joe's second goal. Just being able to protect the ball, you know, play smart soccer, as St. Joe now sets up for another goal here. And so drive it up himself and gets disrupted by Hanna. And they'll just send this one out of bounds for a St. Joe throw-in. Meanwhile, way better chemistry St. Joe this time around. Like you mentioned, they're really trying to get something here following that first game.
Yep.
Definitely look a lot more composed and a bit more coordinated when it comes to the passing game.
I just think they're more awake. it's
and
hard to play at
9 a.m. is
game.
early, and I got here like 7:45, and it was just me, the athletic secretary, and a custodian before AJ pulled around.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, oh, man, I don't know how these kids are going to be awake.
Yeah,
I had to drink some coffee beforehand, and that got me barely going. Meanwhile, Hanna looking for a chance here for another goal to tie it up. Got mismatch, and the foul was called. And it'll go in favor of St. Joe, so they'll have a free kick. Later on this afternoon, our next matchup is going to be Rivera once again coming back to Sam Stadium, going up against Sherland this time. And that'll be a highly anticipated matchup.
Yeah, that's a good
That'll be kicking off at 6 p.m. following this game. And then, of course, later tonight at 8 p.m., Brownsville Veterans going up against San Antonio Reagan on what I feel like would be the most crowded showcase matchup we'll have for you on Friday, maybe for the entire showcase. That one is set again at 8 p.m., and we'll have it here on the RSO Network.
That was back-to-back games in prime time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Coach Gilbert Leal and I know the Hanna coaching staff, they did a good job on scheduling the way this day mapped up, because you probably noticed it's all Brownsville schools here at Sam's.
Oh, yeah, it is.
To perfection.
Well, the La Jolla Laredo was the only one that wasn't, but that's because none of the Brownsville schools were in that slot.
Okay.
So you had Reagan, Edinburgh North, Harlingen High, Donna North, Westlake, Juarez. So I think they just got the best available one there, and of course trying to coordinate with transportation and all those other things.
Yeah, and I think it's great for Brownsville to have, you know, to showcase your talent right here at Sam's, and I'll speak on, you know, behalf of St. Joe. I think it's great that these kids get 2 opportunities to play here at Sam's.
Yeah, and then, of course,
I think it's 2 Brownsville schools.
Yeah, and with the renovations they made over the summer, one of the main reasons they wanted to renovate was for soccer usage, and I think it's gone really well. I got an opportunity to get on the field myself. I want to say I tested it out, not really. I was kind of just walking around a bit, did a little bit of light jogging, and honestly, it's really soft. I thought it was going to be hard. You know, some other stadiums around, you know, tend to be really hard when you fall on it, and you know, you have all these concerns about safety as St. Joe makes another substitution now.
JJ Ibarra.
That'll be JJ Ibarra coming in for the Bloodhounds, but no, this turf is actually in really good condition, and you know, the temperature, on the field is actually a little high. I didn't think it was going to be really, really hot, considering that the sun was up during the afternoon when I was there. But it actually is pretty playable, considering that we're in 85 degrees. I would say it feels like 88. As Hanna tried to deliver that one through, won't get it. As they'll kick this one to the bleachers, and Hanna will be able to throw it in. And it'll be Bermudez with the throw in for Hanna. And Liscano tries to drive it in again for the Golden Eagles. And a great defensive stop there by St. Joe. St. Joe now looking to counter here on a fast break here on a one-on-one again. And it'll be too far for him to catch, as the Hanna defender will just let the ball roll out, and it'll be a goal kick for Hanna.
So this morning was the first time I actually walked on the field like yourself. So I hadn't seen it since it still had the track and everything, and it's a beautiful looking facility, and it only continues to improve.
Oh yeah.
I've known Gilbert Leal a long time, and he had told me, the plans with the new scoreboard, the plans. I don't know if you remember, but that used to be a parking lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. They tore it all down. They had that abandoned building in the corner here, where the new restrooms are right now, or the new concession stand.
Yeah, so I mean, they've just done an excellent job. The booth right here to our right is where we, called a lot of football games. I'm sure you called games in there, so.
Caught some good ones there.
Yeah, it's done a tremendous job here at Sam's.
And then, of course, now with the track no longer being in the stadium, that really limits any potential injuries, as many players would just run deep into the sideline trying to go for the balls. And then, of course, when they were on the track, they would trip and sprain ankles. They would twist ankles. You're talking about like serious injuries that, that some players would have to go through playing here, which is why there weren't that many games scheduled at Sam's. But now with the renovations, I think that really elevates what the stadium could be used for, not only showcasing football, of course, but the pride that we mentioned earlier about Brownsville soccer programs now being put to use and get the maximum capacity allowed for Brownsville and just soccer fans in general to enjoy. Meanwhile, Hanna throws a deep lob there and nearly gets beaten by the goalkeeper, but St. Joe's keeper able to carry the ball up there prior to the attack there. And now they'll swing it to Escamilla. Escamilla with a good lob pass there, just a bit too far there, as Brownsville Hanna sends that one far off and picked up by the Golden Eagles. Hernandez lobs that one over. Intended to Liscano. Liscano able to get it, passes it to Perez. Perez now delivers it down the middle to Murga. Murga delivers it in the middle as well, back to Murga, as he'll now drive it up forward to the left side now. Bermudez trying to set up a shot opportunity here, gets blocked by St. Joe. Golden Eagle fans wanted a handball, won't get it. And that will send Hanna with another opportunity here. St. Joe delivers it outside. Hanna now with the ball again, as Coach Prado has two potential substitutes lined up here. And I'm really liking the effort St. Joe's doing on defense, really getting close to the ball carriers. I didn't see much of that in the first game, but they're really trying to put pressure this time around, which is really limiting pass options for Hanna. And substitutions now being made for St. Joe. Number 15, listed as Patricio Escamilla, coming in for the Bloodhounds. And substitutions also needed on the Brownsville Hanna side. And they'll sub in about 2, maybe 3 players. So far, I see number 3, Daniel Lara, and number 9, Juan Pablo Gutierrez in. And the third man will be number 2, Andres Machado. As Hanna now tries to drive the ball. with an opportunity here on the right-hand side, trying to lob it in the middle. Too far out, and it'll be a goal kick for St. Joe.
You know, I'm curious, you know, we're talking about Sam's and we're talking about, you know, the 6 schools here in Brownsville. Obviously, I know Porter, Pace, they may not play every game here at Sam's, but I'm just curious, if I'm Porter, I'd rather have my games at Porter. If I'm Lopez, I'd rather have my games at Lopez.
Yeah.
Keep that home field advantage.
Yeah.
Just thinking out loud. I'm not sure how the schedule dictates that.
As Hanna fails on the corner kick attempt there, St. Joe able to get this ball back. And I'll get to your commentary in a second here. As St. Joe continues to move the ball here, that's J.J. Ibarra taking it up himself, decides to take a step back, allow some of his teammates to come up here as Hanna comes away with the interruption there. And now back with the ball. The other number 7 now, Bermudez for Hanna, trying to drive it up himself, trying to allow some of his teammates to come up. And they'll pass it to Gutierrez. Gutierrez trying to find an open man, lobs it inside. And a header there will go far to the left, and it will be a goal kick for St. Joe. And to add to that, you know, that point you mentioned earlier, I think part of me would want to be there at home.
Right.
Like if I'm Porter, yeah.
Right, I mean,
if I'm Lopez, like if it's going to be like, for example, Battle Sophomores,
Yeah,
Porter and Lopez.
for
I
sure.
want to be home for that one.
For sure.
I definitely want to be home.
I mean, here is great, don't get me wrong, but just the home crowd advantage and what those places can get like
Yeah.
when those two meet up.
Yeah. Now, we'll say the seating at those campuses may not be the best, but I mean, you're talking about like
They
seats
figure-
versus environment,
they
right?
figure it out.
Do you want to get like
Yeah.
a really locked in matchup, like the Gen Z kids say, right? Locked in. Or do you want a more, you know, comfortable, nice, big, empty stadium where not many fans will be here? Which I wish would happen, you know. Don't get me wrong. I think these soccer programs deserve that. But my guess would be that the games that get scheduled here at Sam's would more than likely, 1, be district games, and 2, if it's between multiple Brownsville schools on the same day, they're probably just going to give it to the bigger schools. As that shot attempt will get picked up by the Hanna goalkeeper, and he saw that one short. Not a good kick there. As Hanna's able to retain possession, and they'll try to send this one through. Gutierrez passes it down inside. Finds Machado. Machado able to deliver it inside. And now Hanna has got something going as Luciano sends down far right and recovered by the St. Joe goalkeeper. St. Joe now with a good lead there on the kick pass. Makes a defender miss and quickly picked up by Hanna and back to St. Joe. Cardona sends it a bit too far out of bounds. It'll be Brownsville Hanna's throw-in now. A header there by the Golden Eagles, able to keep possession. And now they have an opportunity to set this one up in the middle. Hanna moving in full force. A good setup there by the Golden Eagles. Shot goes through, blocked by St. Joe. Hanna now with a second opportunity. Missed the pass there and gets picked up by St. Joe. Hanna will lob it up pretty high and gets tipped by the goalkeeper, and St. Joe will have possession. As they try to put up that replay there, Golden Eagles trying to set something up there in the middle. Nearly connects with down, but a great block there by St. Joe, not allowing that goal to go through, which will stay 2-1 in favor of St. Joe. Hanna again with the ball. Need to find something here to create an opportunity. A shot attempt gets blocked again by St. Joe. St. Joe sending it deep into Hanna's defensive line there. And that'll give Hanna a chance to set it up. And they'll just reset in the backfield. And St. Joe was just sending that one off to the side there. Great stoppage by Escamilla, and another substitution from both sides will be made. Over at Hanna's side, in comes number 13, Emmanuel Sanchez. And for St. Joe, number 12, Andres Cordero. And now we're under 8 minutes remaining here in this first half. St. Joe looking like a different team like we saw earlier this morning, but a better composed team. Meanwhile, Hanna going for a shot attempt, gets blocked again by St. Joe. That's probably his third block within the last 2 minutes, as Hanna now trying to get something going to score here on offense. And as we approach the end of the first half here, we will have some highlights for you. So you're going to want to stick around for that. And, of course, some of my key takeaways from the first half and what both teams can do to come away with a win here late this afternoon. Ball gets juggled around here at the midfield. Hanna will have possession in the end. And St. Joe with a nice steal there, able to gain possession. And J.J. Ibarra passes it back to Escamilla. Escamilla to Gonzalez. And now it goes in the middle for St. Joe. Hanna now find themselves trying to set themselves up for an opportunity to score here. Loses control of the ball there. And a little size mismatch there as Bermudez try to shoot that one far to the left. Won't go through, and it'll be a goal kick for St. Joseph. As the sun now begins to set down a little bit, I noticed that the temperature went down a little bit. Now we're at 83 degrees.
Feels good. Got
and the wind
breeze.
is really making this a lot better. I'm sure not just for us, but for these players as well.
Yeah.
One other thing I did note, the last game, the one that we had between La Jolla and Laredo United, they had a hydration break in between each half.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I completely forgot about it until it came up, and I was like, wow, that's a good call there by the official to implement that for that game.
Yeah, I saw that earlier today with Reagan and Edinburgh North, and I was wondering what they were doing, and I'm like, it's a hydration. I mean, today we were expecting a record high of 89.
Wow.
So I know the high here in Brownsville is 85, so it's a very odd, warm day in early January, but what else do you expect?
Meanwhile, number 23, Irvin Ramirez will check in for Brownsville Hanna with about 5 minutes left to go here. And I don't really anticipate there being another hydration break for the remainder of today's showcase matchups, as Brownsville Hanna trying to get something going here to at least tie it up going into the half.
Ooh, good pass.
That'll be Ramirez, who just came in here trying to get something going, won't get anything, and that'll roll out of bounds. And I'm trying to see what the officials call here. It looks like it will be a corner kick for Brownsville Hanna.
I was telling Victor this morning, I was like, man, if you're a soccer junkie, this is the place for you to be.
Oh,
these
absolutely.
2 days. Like,
absolutely.
Buy a ticket, come out, watch some soccer all day long, man. Today and tomorrow.
Corner kick now goes through for Hanna. Gets lopped over for St. Joe. Bicycle kick now goes through, picked up by St. Joe. And Hanna and St. Joe now fighting for the ball, a little pushing, shoving. The officials will call it.
So I got a question for you, and I got a question for the audience.
Yeah.
What is harder, a bicycle kick or to throw a perfect game?
Perfect game in what sense?
In baseball. A starting pitcher.
I think it's harder to throw a perfect game.
Okay.
I really think so.
Some would say as a bicycle kick.
If Laredo United's kicker Maximo Velasquez could make that bicycle kick like it was nothing the last game we covered, I'm gonna give it the perfect game.
But I know they're rare though, is the thing.
It is rare. Bicycle kicks are also not really common, but for him to do something like that in that last matchup we saw, phenomenal, first of all.
Yeah.
And he just made it look effortless. I mean, it was just a thing of a beauty we got to see there the last game. As we now get into the 3-minute mark here, the first half. Goes through the St. Joe defender's legs, and he'll be able to get control of the ball there. Hanna now looking to try to answer something here. Good deflection there by the St. Joe defender, and gets them the possession of the ball with 2.5 now left to go. And he'll drive it up himself. Good disruption there by Brownsville Hanna to get the ball back. Now, one of the things I was going to mention during the halftime, during the takeaways, but I'll kind of mention it here. I would really like to see Brownsville Hanna really spread the field a little bit more, really force St. Joe to come on the outside, as now they have a chance here for another goal here. Nice cut down inside, and that'll go out of bounds for another corner kick for Brownsville Hanna. And what that'll do for Brownsville Hanna, bringing St. Joe players to the sidelines, is it'll create more open opportunities if Hanna's able to get passes down in the middle for possible header goals, or really place the ball in a comfortable position for them to get a better goal opportunity. Kick goes up high and deflected for St. Joe. And now we got a fast break here, mismatch here. 3-on-2, makes one defender miss. Gets the deflection, they're just gonna reset. And a good slide tackle there. St. Joe fans probably want a foul there, but it will just roll out of bounds.
You know, Alejandrito Gonzalez, the one that took a spill there.
Yeah.
He's Mighty Mouse, man. He is one of the toughest kids you will ever see. You know, he's Mighty Mouse.
Oh, yeah. And when he went small. Up over here earlier against Bermudez.
So that move down there, that's just a veteran move. He's a senior. He's a state champion.
He didn't hesitate one bit. He stayed locked in there that whole time.
Yeah, he is one tough kid, man.
And they are going to call the foul there, so St. Joe will have a free kick opportunity at the 12-yard line of the football field. So it's about a 20 to 25-yard range here if they like to go for the goal here. But with 10 seconds, they need to get this one off if they want to try to get something through. And it looks like he's going to go for the goal attempt. No, it'll just go out of bounds, and that'll do it for the first half. Back and forth goals evidently will bring Brownsville St. Joe up 2-1. We're going to go to commercial break, and when we return, we'll have the first half highlights for you. Stick with us here on the RSL Network.
Hello, sports fans. I'm Jason Starkey with Gallery Homes.
Here at Gallery, we make building your new home simple and stress-free. From sales to selections, we handle every step so you can enjoy the journey to your new home. This is Gallery, where your dreams become reality.
Restoration, AT4, AT4X, Denali. Case closed. For your GMC, we're professional grade.
That's going to be a fumble recovered by the Cardinals.
At Marine Military Academy, we educate those who dare to achieve. Those eager to control their future before it controls them. Those who can follow a path so they can eventually make their own. Those ready to join in order to stand out. Welcome to MMA, forging tomorrow's leaders.
And we are back on the RSO Network here, live at Sam's Memorial Stadium. St. Joe with a 2-1 lead over Brownsville Hanna. After some back and forth goals here, St. Joe at the end of the half coming away with the victory so far here. And again, like I mentioned earlier, St. Joe made a lot of adjustments from the first game. Now playing a little bit more physical, a little more one-on-one, really trying to pressure the ball carrier and really trying to take the ball over. And have done a pretty good job executing fast breaks, of course, able to score twice. Meanwhile, Brownsville Hanna creating a little bit more opportunities, really trying to set themselves up here for lob passes in the middle. I feel like the shot attempts are fairly even, maybe a little bit more on the Brownsville Hanna side. But again, in the end, St. Joe still with the 2-1 lead. So, meanwhile, here are the first half highlights for you, and we'll go with more takeaways from there. But let's see what we can pull up for you here. And we'll get quickly picked up. No, it's going to be back to Hanna as they try to get something set up here now for the Golden Eagles. Go for a long shot, and we'll go far out to the left, so it'll be a goal kick now for St. Joe.
It's going to be Pablo S.
The Bloodhound defender, they'll be able to control the ball as they send it far out. And a miscue there by Hanna defender there. Gives St. Joe an opportunity here as they get closer here. An opportunity for a goal here. Goes through the net for a goal for St. Joseph. Deflect this kick here. Won't get it, but gets a deflection. Brownsville Hanna had the ball there. Ricochets off the chest and on the outside there as they look for a second chance here. Nice shot there for Hanna for the goal. A nice put in there by number 7, Bermudez for Brownsville Hanna. Bit of fatigue going into lunchtime here before this matchup, and thankfully they got a new crew.
Yeah, but shout out to you guys. You guys have been here all day, man.
And we'll be here all day tomorrow as well, covering more games here at Stadium. Meanwhile, St. Joe get another header in, and that'll be a goal for St. Joe. Especially the UIL schools, you know, not getting too jittery and making these, you know, these, you know, how do I say it? Mistakes, I would say, early on in the season. St. Joe with a long attempt there. Goes far off on the left-hand side. Keep possession. And now they have an opportunity to set this one up in the middle. Hanna moving in full force. A good setup there by the Golden Eagles. Shot goes through, blocked by St. Joe. Hanna now with a second opportunity. Missed the pass there and gets picked up by to go through, which will stay 2-1 in favor of St. Joe. Hanna again with the ball. Need to find something here to create an opportunity. A shot attempt gets blocked again by St. Joe. Different team like we saw earlier this morning, but a better composed team. Meanwhile, Hanna going for a shot attempt, gets blocked again by St. Joe. That's probably his third block within the last 2 minutes, as Hanna now trying to get something going to score here on offense. Middle. And we'll get quickly picked up. No, it's going to be back to Hanna as they try to get something set up here now for the Golden Eagles. Go for a long shot, and we'll go far out to the left, so it'll be a goal kick now for St. Joe.
It's going to be Pablo S.
The Bloodhound defender, they'll be able to control the ball as they send it far out. And a miscue there by Hanna defender there. Gives St. Joe an opportunity here as they get closer here. An opportunity for a goal here. Goes through the net for a goal for St. Joseph. Deflect this kick here. Won't get it, but gets a deflection. Brownsville Hanna had the ball there. Ricochets off the chest and on the outside there as they look for a second chance here. Nice shot there for Hanna for the goal. A nice put in there by number 7, Bermudez for Brownsville Hanna. Bit of fatigue going into lunchtime here before this matchup, and thankfully they got a new crew.
Yeah, but shout out to you guys. You guys have been here all day, man.
And we'll be here all day tomorrow as well, covering more games here at Stadium. Meanwhile, St. Joe get another header in, and that'll be a goal for St. Joe. Especially the UIL schools, you know, not getting too jittery and making these, you know, these, you know, how do I say it? Mistakes, I would say, early on in the season. St. Joe with a long attempt there, goes far off on the left-hand side, keep possession. And now they have an opportunity to set this one up in the middle. Hanna moving in full force. A good setup there by the Golden Eagles. Shot goes through, blocked by St. Joe. Hanna now with a second opportunity. Missed the pass there and gets picked up by to go through, which will stay 2-1 in favor of St. Joe. Hanna again with the ball. Need to find something here to create an opportunity. A shot attempt gets blocked again by St. Joe. Different team like we saw earlier this morning, but a better composed team. Meanwhile, Hanna going for a shot attempt, gets blocked again by St. Joe. That's probably his third block within the last 2 minutes, as Hanna now trying to get something going to score here on offense. Middle. And we'll get quickly picked up. No, it's going to be back to Hanna as they try to get something set up here now for the Golden Eagles. Go for a long shot, and we'll go far out to the left, so it'll be a goal kick now for St. Joe.
It's going to be Pablo S.
The Bloodhound defender, they'll be able to control the ball as they send it far out. And a miscue there by Hanna defender there. Gives St. Joe an opportunity here as they get closer here. An opportunity for a goal here. Goes through the net for a goal for St. Joseph. Deflect this kick here. Won't get it, but gets a deflection. Brownsville Hanna had the ball there. Ricochets off the chest and on the outside there as they look for a second chance here. Nice shot there for Hanna for the goal. A nice. And those are your first half highlights again. Brownsville St. Joe up over Brownsville Hanna 2-1. And we'll go to one more commercial break. We're about 2.5 minutes remaining. And when we return, we'll get second half underway. Stick with us here on the RSL Network.
Permatemp Personnel Services has been servicing local businesses for the past 29 years.
Leave the hiring to us. Let us become your personal hiring guru.
We have a network of skilled employees to fit your needs. Your success is our strategy.
Don't hesitate, call us now.
Hello sports fans, I'm Jason Starkey with Gallery Homes.
Here at Gallery, we make building your new home simple and stress-free. From sales to selections, we handle every step so you can enjoy the journey to your new home. This is Gallery, where your dreams become reality.
If you've been in a car crash, call Kenny. We're available to take your call 24/7, and we don't charge a fee unless we win your case. When you're in a car crash, call Kenny. Call 999-1111 now for a free consultation.
This summer, it's time for mimosas and brunch with the girls. A beachside lunch with the kiddos. Delicious bayside burgers. and world-famous fried shrimp with a cold one. South Padre Island has your breakfast, lunch, and dinner plans covered. Book your summer getaway today. Visit SoPadre.com.
There's no place like Sherryland ISD returning students need to district work here, learn here, or tuition-based enrollment. Register now. Call 956-584-6408. Sherryland ISD, excellence is our tradition.
And we are back here on the RSO Network. Brownsville Hanna now kicking off to start the second half. One thing I am noting here during the first half, Brownsville Hanna was going against the sun here trying to score, and St. Joe had the opportunity to go against it. So we'll see if that sun becomes a factor in this game as we get the second half underway. As St. Joe currently with a 2-1 lead over Brownsville Hanna. Hanna also have the favor of the wind. It's actually pushing in their favor, so St. Joe will have a little bit of wind going against them. And second half now underway. Golden Eagles trying to make some noise on offense here in the second half, trying to score here. As St. Joe quickly making moves here as the officials let that one play on. As Hanna trying to get something organized here with the ball. And they'll just send it deep to their goalkeeper. And now feeds it inside. Hanna looking so far so good in the passing game. Sends that one off a little bit too far, and that'll be the first passing miscue. And they'll get the ball quickly back here now. Machado with the ball. Fails to connect there with Sanchez, and St. Joe will be able to connect and get the ball in their favor. And it'll be the Golden Eagles with the ball now with Hernandez. Good pass there back to Hernandez. And Bermudez looking to set this one up again. Quickly interrupted by the St. Joe defender. Back to Bermudez. He'll center this one, but it'll go too far out to the right. It'll be a goal kick for St. Joe. Good first awareness there. Good first pickup there by Brownsville Hanna. Trying to get something going here as they continue to figure out their chemistry as they start their season here. And continuing to build off on that. Meanwhile, St. Joe with the goal kick quickly returned to Hanna. And they'll be able to keep it here as Hanna now with an opportunity to attack. Doesn't get anything there. And the St. Joe goalkeeper able to maintain possession there. We'll roll it out. St. Joe with the fake touch there. Continues to let that ball roll. And will get picked up by Brownsville Hanna. Hanna now with Hernandez as the ball carrier, passes it to Bermudez. Bermudez gets the pass broken up by St. Joe. And the officials let that one play on as well. Hanna send this one too far. And that'll give St. Joe an opportunity to get the ball, and they will. And they'll roll this one out on the ground. That's going to go out of bounds. It'll stay St. Joe ball. One of the things I mentioned at the start of the second half was the sun. I'm noticing that it's hitting on this end, and Brownsville Hanna was facing that sun. Let's see if St. Joe has any factor with that sun. I doubt it, but it's up there.
Yeah, if you ever call a game here in the fall, that sun can be brutal.
And St. Joe able to recover that ball again. As some eye strains may now come into effect here for St. Joe in the second half. And they look comfortably passing the ball so far. And now goes to Hanna. Hanna now with a header by St. Joe. Goes back to themselves. Hernandez with the ball. Lobs it to Bermudez. Bermudez passes it behind. Hernandez Hernandez gets it for Machado. Machado swings it out. Here's the center pass there. Bermudez with an open shot. Gets it through for Brownsville. Hanna, and will get the equalizer. A nice start there for Brownsville. Hanna. That'll be Bermudez' second goal of the matchup. Had a great corner shot in the first half. Now ties it up for the Golden Eagles.
That's a big goal for Hanna to come right out of the gate to start the second half and tie this thing up.
And Bermudez with a nice celebration there, really showing the fans the appreciation from their support here at this showcase. And after 4 minutes into the second half, we have a tie game here, a 2 apiece. As we take a look at that replay there, Bermudez just taking it up himself. And a nice lob there, allowing Bermudez, being patient this time around, being able to get it in for Brownsville Hanna, which evidently brings up a tie game. St. Joe, meanwhile, looking to bounce back. Near completed pass there, intended for number 10, Jose Carmolinga, not able to connect there. Now Hanna with the ball again. Pass well short there, recovered by Andres Cordero, and St. Joe now on the move. St. Joe's gonna lob it a little bit too far out. And Hanna's gonna let that one roll out. It'll be a throw in for the Golden Eagles.
You know, I'm surprised that, you know, earlier the broadcast said that Hanna didn't win a game at all last year in district.
Yeah,
They're not bad.
And this is a, you know, a Hanna team that does really, really well every year. But to my knowledge, relatively young group, a lot of sophomores and juniors in that squad now.
Rebuilding.
Up elevated junior and senior, so hoping they can add more chemistry than they did last season, trying to leave that in the past. And of course, this showcase being the first step of
good pass.
Something to go here. St. Joe now able to convert, gets blocked by Hanna. And a great defense stop there, short kick there, and now goes high and out. And that's a great save there by the Golden Eagles. Near goal there by Carmolinga for St. Joseph to give him the lead again. And good patience there by the Golden Eagle defender there. That's Hernandez. There's Bermudez once again looking for an open pass. And gets the stop there for St. Joe. St. Joe almost sent that one off, hesitated last second. Good hesitation, I would say, resetting that, giving his players a bit more time to go down the field. Miscue there by Hanna, gives the ball to St. Joe. St. Joe still moving the ball, and a foul is called. It will stay St. Joe for a free kick.
So it's funny about Carmolinga almost had his second goal. I was talking to him at halftime, and he's like, I don't know how I got that goal in. I kicked it with my left foot. So it's kind of like one of those, you close your eyes, you're just like, give it a good kick. And I mean, it was impressive. And, you know, JJ's primarily a defensive player.
Yeah.
But, you know, but JJ's one of those guys. He's a junior. He came onto the soccer team last year. He plays linebacker in football, and he just brings that tenacity to the soccer team. You know, because you need the aggressors, right? Him and Escamilla, you've seen him throughout the day.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what JJ brought on the football field. And he brings that here to the soccer team, and a team that, while they do have a lot of veterans, they're also very, very young. The freshmen that are on this team, that they've played travel ball together growing up. So for that class, it was highly anticipated for them to make it here to the varsity and play together. Guys like Emi Cisneros, his brother was the keeper the last 2 years. Ray Cisneros was also a state champion. Soccer's in his blood. You know, you got JJ Ibarra, another freshman. Andres Cordero's a sophomore, right here up the right side. Abel Duran, he's not here today, but he's another up-and-coming freshman. Marte Escamilla is S's younger brother.
Oh, okay. I figured.
So Marte stepped in and played goalie this morning, and that was...
Yeah, I took a note of that.
That was impressive. To ask a freshman to step in and be like, hey, man, we need you to step in and play goalie. So, there's a lot of really good young talent on this team. But like I said, there's enough veterans like the Johnnies, the JJs, the Alejandritos Dieces of the world that can mesh this team to hopefully go on another long playoff run.
Yeah, it's Santiago checking in for St. Joe, and then for the Golden Eagles, number 10, Mauricio Perez comes in for Brownsville Hanna. And a backwards lob pass there, a lob kick there by St. Joe, keeps it in their own side. Set this one up again. And a nice pickup there by St. Joe. Alex Gonzalez sends that one out. That's a goal. Oh, that was close there. I thought he would get a step on that and have a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. St. Joe with a shot attempt up high, and that'll be a goal kick for Brownsville Hanna. And a possible injury there on the St. Joe side. Maybe got cramped up following the kick. And that will pause the timer, at least I thought it was. And there it goes, stops at 30:15. Still, we'll step aside briefly. We'll keep an eye on that injury. We'll be back here shortly on the RSL Network.
No matter where you are in life, Texas Southmost College is here to help you move forward. Whether you're starting fresh, changing careers, or gaining new skills, TSC has affordable programs designed to fit your goals. It's time to take the next step. Think big. Think bright. Think TSC.
Sunny Glen Children's Home has provided a place of hope for every child since 1936. If you'd like more information on Sunny Glen and the services we offer, please visit us at www.sunnyglen.org.
Kenny Perez came from a small town in Texas. At Kenny Perez Law, we won't stop fighting until our clients get what's rightfully theirs. We're right by your side, no matter what. Call Kenny Perez Injury Lawyers today, 956-999-1111.
And we are back on the RSL Network. The injured Greyhound player was number 3, Ezequiel Escamilla. I'm hoping that the injury isn't too serious and he'll be able to come back later this evening or in a future matchup, as he was carted off the field, but walking with some power, so hoping it's not too serious and he's able to return.
Yeah, this is a tough kid, man.
Meanwhile, Brownsville Hanna sending in a substitute along with St. Joe following the Escamilla injury. That'll resume play here. And Hanna will take over deep in their own end of the field, trying to move it forward. Bermudez with the ball. Will cut inside. Feeds it off to the right side, but doesn't see it. Intended for Emmanuel Sanchez. Picked up by St. Joe. And now St. Joe moving quickly. Back-to-back-to-back passes. Now has an opportunity for another shot here. Carmolinga gets away from him a bit too far. Picked up by the goalkeeper for Brownsville Hanna. And Hanna again with the ball. Bermudez, the intended player there for the pass, won't get it. And of course, you want to stick around to our next matchup here, kicking off at 6 p.m. We have Brownsville Rivera going up against Sheridan Rattlers, two really phenomenal soccer programs going head-to-head. Again, that game is set to kick off at 6 p.m. You do not want to miss it. We'll have it here on the RSO Network. And we want to take this time to thank everybody tuning into this matchup between Brownsville Hanna and St. Joseph Academy, as both these teams currently still at a 2-2 tie. As that ball rolls off to the side, it will be St. Joe's ball. And St. Joe will throw it in. Now, how do I explain this in the nicest way possible? So, Coach Parada, the head coach for Brownsville Hanna, has like two different emotions, only two moods. He's either super calm, collective, composed, as you saw earlier, he was just sitting down in the bleachers, or he can get really aggressive and really into the game, as his patience now kind of starting to fade away a little bit as he now stands in his hands behind the back posture. You'll notice he'll get really involved when he starts getting after the refs. He may not seem the most passionate coach, but he's very passionate when it comes to close matchups like this one.
I'm sure he'll give you feedback at the barbecue on that one. But you know, that just shows the style of the coach. I mean, I've seen coaches where they show zero emotion, and you would never know if they're winning or if they're losing.
Right.
So I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing.
Meanwhile, Brownsville Hanna able to take this ball again. Lobs this one deep to Bermudez, and Bermudez has an opportunity to take this one, as St. Joe defender now tries to go up against him. As he'll center it to one man, wide open for the header. That's going to go in for the Golden Eagles. A nice lob pass from Bermudez connects with Mauricio Perez, and that'll give Hanna the lead, now up 3-2. And buen centro indeed, as we take a look at that replay there. Bermudez going one-on-one, I believe, against Alex Gonzalez there at the right side of the field. Gets just enough space there to lob it to Perez and gets it in for the Golden Eagles.
It's pretty impressive. We've seen two headers, both into the north end zone.
Yeah. Now, that would be more impossible than a perfect game.
Yeah.
Or a bicycle kick goal. And a foul is called, will go in favor of the Golden Eagles.
So right now, if you're Hanna, you wanna keep your foot on the gas and put this game away. But if you're St. Joe right now, you know it's the test of these youngsters and see how they handle this adversity here, and just if they can weather this storm.
Right. And like I mentioned earlier, St. Joe up 2-1 as we get closer to the halfway mark. What do you think about that sun now?
The sun.
Is it a problem for St. Joe trying to get something on their end?
I don't think so. I wouldn't think so.
We can maybe ask post-game.
I'll figure it out post-game, yep.
Meanwhile, St. Joe now getting some rhythm here. Getting some passes through. A nice delivery there as the officials will stop it temporarily. Give St. Joe an opportunity to set this one up here. And they'll place it at the 36 hash mark of the football field, of course, about 45 to 50 yards in range. And he'll send this one to the left-hand side, wide open. Alex Gonzalez trying to make up for the one-on-one, able to retain possession. He still has it. Met up by a duo of Golden Eagles. Hanna now with the steal. And Hanna's going to take it up himself. Bermudez, a threat on the right-hand side, not able to control the ball there. It will be a throw-in for St. Joe. Cordero, hesitant, decides to follow through this time around. Quickly out of bounds, now goes to Brownsville Hanna. Manuel Sanchez with the throw-in. Finds Adrian Longoria. Somehow stays with Longoria. And now a good pass opportunity for Perez. Perez nearly gets through the St. Joe defender, and a great defensive stop there. Avoiding the one-on-one there. And now a second chance opportunity. Officials really clean and play on. And Hanna now going to pass it back, trying to look for another chance for a shot. St. Joe, meanwhile, able to get the ball back, and now they're starting to move the ball. Good back and forth cut to the side here. Good delivery there on the left-hand side. That's going to be Carmolinga. Gets it deflected, and that should be a corner kick for St. Joe, and it will be. St. Joe with a chance to tie it up here on the corner kick. Let's see what they draw up here to get the ball in the net. Nice delivery down the middle. Loses the ball for a second, shoots it far off to the left. That'll be a goal kick for Brownsville Hanna. Substitution now being made. In comes number 19 for the Golden Eagles, Aron Murga. Along with St. Joe's substitution as well. Murga is going to go in for, I believe, number 2, Andres Machado, and St. Joe in comes, trying to get the number here for y'all, number 17. But it could be J.J. Ibarra. I don't have number 17 listed on the roster I have here.
17's Meme Ibarra.
Meme Ibarra.
Yeah.
Brothers?
Brothers, yeah, with Wale. Meme is a sophomore and Wale is a senior.
Nice. Hanna with a throw in now. Finds Mauricio Perez, but St. Joe not allowing him to touch the ball again. It's going to roll out. It should be a goal kick for St. Joe. And it will be a goal kick. St. Joe, they can continue the great counterattacks that they've had from some of their goals early on. If they can get another one through, that would be very beneficial for this squad. And, of course, they do want to win, but if they can get a tie here, it would be a great result there. Hanna delivers it deep and far out, won't connect, and it'll be a St. Joe goal kick. And they'll send this one over near midfield. J.J. Ibarra with the ball. It's going to pass it back. Nearly gets it stolen by Hanna, but able to retain possession. And now St. Joe trying to swing it possibly the other side. And they do. 21, Alex Gonzalez with the ball. Finds it inside. Back to Gonzalez. Gonzalez with a deflection. Still has St. Joe with the ball. As they look to lob it in the middle, they do. But gets picked up by the goalkeeper. Isael Vasquez with the stop. And St. Joe using this left-hand side now, as Gonzalez now drives it up near the middle of the field. Still has the ball. And St. Joe now trying to make some moves here. Makes one defender miss, two defenders miss, and gets stopped at the end of the defensive line for Hanna. And Hanna now moving on offense. Poor pass there, easily picked up by St. Joe. And again, Alex swings it out to the left. Finds Ibarra. Ibarra loses it, but quickly back up by Gonzalez. Gonzalez feeds it inside. A good quick pass on the outside there. It's going to give Vela an opportunity to set something up for the Bloodhounds. And the Golden Eagle defender just has to kick down and get rid of it. And it'll be a corner kick again for St. Joe.
They had a missed opportunity on that last corner kick, so see if they can capitalize this time around. Clock almost becoming an issue at this point, but you still got some time.
and being a little more aggressive on the Hanna side of the field. This is their second corner kick within the last 5 minutes. Let's see if St. Joe can convert here in this attempt. Corner kick goes up. Nearly gets possession of it, but able to get rid of it from Brownsville Hanna. And there's Bermudez again with the ball, using that right side of the field as he comfortably has. This time kicks it out of bounds, and it'll roll out. St. Joe will throw it in. And Coach Prado now without the hat. I warned you. Out of bounds there. This is where he gets a little more involved here. Keep an eye on the shades. It might be off before the end of the game. Hanna with the throw in. A substitution being made. In comes number 17, Alexander Liscano. As Bermudez sends this one outside of St. Joe's hands. And here we go, one-on-one motion by Perez. Perez not able to get through the goalkeeper. And St. Joe now moving a bit quickly away from their half of the field. Gonzalez again. Passes it to the middle. Now back outside on the other side. Good pass there by St. Joe and gets quickly disrupted by Hanna. And that kick is just going to roll out of bounds for a St. Joe throw-in. Near goal opportunity there again by Mauricio Perez for Brownsville Hanna. Not able to get past the goalkeeper as St. Joe able to put enough pressure to keep the ball away out of their own reach. Ball goes up in the air, rolls in favor of Hanna. More than likely sends this to the goalkeeper, they do. And that'll give Hanna a chance to set this up. Ball goes out to the right side. It's going to be Manuel Sanchez. They could be trying to feed this off to Bermudez for another lob pass in the middle. Luciano's going to swing it to Sanchez. Sanchez goes inside. Try to feed it to Bermudez. Doesn't get it. Goes out of bounds to St. Joe to stay Brownsville Hanna. Sanchez tries to feed inside. Bermudez now on the right-hand side again. Could be passing this one inside. Another shot through. Gets it in. Feeds it off to the left side. And a goal again for Brownsville Hanna. Alexander Liscano coming in from the bench for Brownsville Hanna. And again, Bermudez just being a threat on the right side, being able to deliver that to Perez, who thought about shooting that one, decided, you know what, you have the better shot there, Alexander, let me feed it to you, and then ultimately does have the open shot there for the goal. As we take a look at that replay there. Mauricio thought he had it, decided to pass it off, and just delivers it down the middle there for Brownsville Hanna, now up 4-2. St. Joe now making a move here inside. Good spin move, now passes it on the outside. Goes back to Vela. St. Joe looking to attack here. And gets disrupted by Brownsville Hanna again. A good feed off to Bermudez. Bermudez is going to beat him outside again. And Bermudez again on the right-hand side as Gonzalez gets a foot in on the ball. That's going to roll out, and that should be a corner kick for Hanna, and they're going to call it a goal kick for St. Joe. So 3 goals from Brownsville Hanna coming out of the halftime, down 2-1 with nearly 15 minutes remaining to go here. Scored 3 goals. One by Bermudez, Mauricio Perez, number 10, and then most recently by Alexander Liscano. As that ball rolls out of bounds. And a throw-in for St. Joe. Hanna sends this one far out. It's going to be a one-on-one running matchup here. And the speed of Hanna going to go over the goalie. Is it enough? A good pass there. That's going to connect again for the Golden Eagles. Hat trick for Bermudez. Unbelievable play there by Brownsville Hanna on the fast break. As we look at that replay there, as Mauricio Perez just outruns the St. Joe defender, tries to shoot it himself, makes the goalie bite, decides to pass it to Bermudez, and Bermudez gets it just enough so that the St. Joe defender doesn't get to it, and that is a hat trick for Bermudez. Hanna now up 5-1.
Pretty good stuff. I mean, just the hustle.
And great hustle indeed, and as I mentioned before, that last goal by Bermudez, just him being a threat on the right-hand side there, really taking advantage of trying to get something created for Hanna to score, and just on that fast break, being able to connect it on the near goal by Perez. Meanwhile, St. Joe still showing a lot of heart there, nearly gets that one in, but gets picked up by the goalkeeper. And correct me if I'm wrong, Bermudez now inside the middle again, stolen by St. Joe. And that's Gonzalez again, met up with Bermudez. Bermudez now in control of the ball. Passed a bit far off to the left, picked up by St. Joe. Regardless of the outcome, oh, give me a second. Perez, an easy lay in there for Hanna. Now Hanna, complete dominance, gets their 5th goal. This one by Mauricio Perez. So the Golden Eagles being able to convert here with 5 back-to-back goals. Now up by 4 goals. As St. Joe tries to get some stuff set up here. St. Joe with another shot opportunity here, gets the pass deflected by the Golden Eagles, and Hanna is still putting their foot on the gas pedal here. Continuing to move by Liscano. Liscano takes it up himself and finally gets the ball deflected. Will be a throw-in for Hanna as the Golden Eagles now making some substitutions with this comfortable lead now up by 4. And I was just about to mention before that last goal, Kevin, you know, it was a 3-goal deficit, and St. Joe should feel a lot better than they would have following that first game against Veterans. But now Hanna starting to slowly take this one to the end here, and they'll send Bermudez out, give him some breathing time, and possibly rest him up for tomorrow.
For sure. No, they just turned it on in the second half.
And they have, especially these last 10 minutes that we've seen here.
Yep.
Hanna still trying to drive it up here as they continue to find open spaces here. Now it's going to go to Irvin Ramirez, but it goes too far and picked up by the St. Joe goalkeeper. And again, we want to take this opportunity as well to invite you all to come down to Brownsville, Texas, to watch these great soccer programs all around. Whether it's going to be here at Sam's Memorial Stadium, as Brownsville Hanna will get a yellow card following the defensive tackle there by the Golden Eagles. And St. Joe will get a good setup here for a free kick on the outside of about the 20-yard hash mark, which is about a 35-40-yard distance here. Again, as I mentioned, just sending you guys an invitation to come watch these great programs, whether it's here at the stadium in Brownsville or at the Brownsville Sports Park. If you're looking to watch either of these teams live, St. Joe will be playing at 10 a.m. tomorrow at the Sports Park. And St. Joe gets this one lobbed through. And it is enough for a goal for St. Joe. And they're going to call it offsides. Correction, they are going to mark the goal here. So will be a goal for St. Joe here. And for some technical error, not able to pull up the replay. And the goal was made by number 6 of St. Joe, Jose Vela. St. Joe's going to kick this one out of bounds. It'll be a throw in for Hanna, and they'll move quick. And a lob really high up in the air there. Hanna with the possession there. As Liscano fails to convert on the possession there. St. Joe now moving the ball again. And St. Joe almost had that ball there. Gets picked up by the Golden Eagles. St. Joe cuts the deficit from 4 now down to 3. As we are now reaching the 8-minute mark here of this match. Mauricio Perez feeds it inside. Finds Aaron Murga. Murga will get tripped up. And officials letting this one play on. And St. Joe with an opportunity to make another goal here. Goes over the defender. And left too much space there, and Hanna able to regain control of the ball. Andres Machado. Nearly misses the ball, gets recovered by Aaron Murga. Murga is going to feed inside the middle, now gets to Liscano. Liscano drives it up himself, stays with it. Stays with it again, makes a nice cut. Tries to feed it to his teammate, too far out, recovered by St. Joe. And as I was trying to mention before, the St. Joe goal there, tomorrow at 10 a.m., St. Joe going up against Edinburgh Economies, the district champions of their district. They'll be playing at 10 a.m. at the Sports Park. And then Brownsville Hanna will be playing at 12 p.m. against La Jolla, also at the Sports Park. And you're going to want to stick around for our next matchup covering starting at 6 p.m. Brownsville Rivera going up against Sherilyn, the Rattlers. 2 top-notch programs going head-to-head. We'll have that game covered for you here on the BSD channel here on the RSL Network.
2 state champion programs.
2 state champion programs indeed.
That's impressive, man.
Of course, Sherilyn making it to the state semis not too long ago during the 22-23 season. And then the state title we mentioned back in 2011-2012, Rivera winning the state title during the 14-15 season. That was the first year UIL added the 6A classification. So as Hanna now tries to feed itself inside again for another goal opportunity, and that's going to sail to the right side. It'll be a goal kick.
So fun fact for you about that Brownsville Rivera state champion team, Coach Edward Rojas was on that team.
Really? What?
Fun fact.
Wow.
Yep.
And Coach Garcia over at Rivera has been there for many, many years, as I mentioned with AJ here. You know, last I checked, over 35 years. Longer than I've lived.
That's you and me both. That's a long time.
Very long time. And it has to be before Rivera's birth, essentially. Rivera wasn't built until, I think, around the 80s or the 90s. Or maybe it was when Rivera built, actually. I take it back. And a very good squad that year. Also had Isidro Martinez, ended up playing in the USL for a little bit. I think played with somewhere in the upper region of the U.S. for a little bit.
You're from Brownsville?
I am, yeah.
You went to Hanna?
I started at Hanna, moved to Pace, graduated at Pace.
Okay.
Class of 16, so shout out Class of 16 Pace if you're watching.
Class of 16. That is impressive.
Yeah. And a foul called here will go a free kick for St. Joe, under 5 minutes now.
It's a class of 2010.
10, nice. Where you at, AJ? 13, not bad, right in between.
Santa Rosa's finest right there,
right? And we have an injured Golden Eagle player down on the field, so we'll step aside briefly. And we'll be back here shortly on the RSL Network.
At Tortilleria Ibañez, flavor starts fresh every day. Crispy flautas, homemade tamales, and our signature chicken salad, all made for you. Tortilleria Ibañez, tradition on every plate.
And we're back on the RSL Network following a short injury timeout here. Brownsville Hanna still firing as St. Joe tries to get this ball away out of reach from the Golden Eagles. And that's just going to roll out of bounds and be a throw-in for Hanna. And going back to, if we're going to go into the fact stuff, when Hanna made the state finals in 2012, 2013, one thing that really stood out to me was just how the players were quick into accepting Coach Prado into that program. You know, they're going from a very long tenured coach and, you know, Juan de Dios Garcia, and then get switched over to Coach Prado, and it's a lot of uncertainties. You know, is this something we feel comfortable? Is this something we're going to be able to continue? Is the chemistry still going to be built? And not only did they retain it, but they just added more to it, which I believe was a big reason why they're able to do really well during that season. Of course, Coach Prado not only wanting to replicate that, but taking it one step further and hopefully bring Hanna its first state title. And Brownsville just multiple state championships. Talk about St. Joe, talk about Rivera, talk about Lopez, Porter twice.
Yep.
I mean, the possibilities are endless, just like that goal for Brownsville Hanna. And that's going to be Mauricio Perez again. And he'll get his second here tonight. You know, we talk about other sports throughout the season. We talk about football, and, you know, one of the goals being just make the playoffs. And then you make the playoffs, and you're like, okay, now we have the opportunity to go far. But for soccer, I always feel like, you know what, the playoffs are going to be there. It's a matter of how much adversity we can overcome, what the possibilities and belief we have in our program and our own players, right? And continue to build a way and build something that you get to share for the rest of your life. You know, I had a good buddy of mine I went to college with, was part of the 2016 Porter Championship team, and that's a memory he always brings up.
For sure.
Whether it's just casual conversations, anything we talk about sports, we talk about what it takes to be a real champion. You know, those experiences that he got to go through is something remarkable. You know, not just for himself, not just for Porter, not just for soccer, but for something the Valley can, you know, be proud of representing and doing. And of course, outside of Brownsville, you know, you have Sherilyn, you have Hidalgo, you had Progreso last year, which I won't get much into. But, you know, every Valley team, I believe, and I feel like a lot of people should really take the time to look into and be like, you know what? Soccer is a big deal. And if they don't know how big of a deal it is, I think they just need to come to one of these games, like the showcase, like whatever school they came from, anything close by them, and really experience, you know, the culture and the environment that these kids create, and of course ultimately try to do to not only win games but make it to playoffs, break school history records, personal records, and of course coming away with a state championship.
Soccer capital of Texas. You know, one thing's going to be interesting is we're probably a little less than a month away from the biannual realignment.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see where Hanna wounds up. From what I understand, they're expected to make the move down to 5A.
That's right.
So if you're telling me that this is a young squad, and if they're gonna go down to 5A,
this is gonna be a scary team in the 5A.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I saw, their only other Brownsville school they would be with is Brownsville Rivera, and they had a good rivalry back in the 2010s.
Well, well, Veterans is the only team expected to stay in 6A, so you might get Porter, Pace,
that's right.
Hanna, Lopez.
Yeah, you'll get the other Brownsville schools.
All in the
just
same
leaving out
district.
Veterans, and
all in the same district. Yeah.
would have been really nice to get all the Brownsville schools together and really try to make something within one district. But the alignments go as the way they go. Meanwhile, St. Joe with the throw-in, under a minute now, as the Golden Eagles look to close this off with a 7-3 victory. And if you're still tuned in with us, you're going to want to stick around for the post game. We'll have the full game highlights for you, along with the announcing of our player of the game, which if you've been around with us for a while, you could anticipate who that might be. But we'll keep it quiet so that you're here with us the rest of the way. St. Joe with a near goal there won't connect. And Hanna is just going to send this to the corner to run some clock. And that'll go out of bounds. And the officials don't mark anything. It'll be a corner kick for St. Joe. St. Joe with one last opportunity here to add another one. Won't get it. And Hanna's just going to send this one up. And the countdown begins, and that'll just about do it. Final score, Brownsville Hanna 7, St. Joseph Academy 3. And a great second half effort by the Golden Eagles, down 2-1. Essentially score 5 unanswered points, really, and then St. Joe scores their third one, then Hanna at the end again, being able to close this one out.
Yeah, the second half was the difference. We saw, St. Joe and Hanna, they went toe-to-toe in that first half, and really it was just the second half that ultimately made the difference. And, Essa went out in that second half, and things kind of spiraled out of control. So, take that for what it's worth when you're missing one of your senior players. But nonetheless, a much better performance from St. Joe, despite, late in that second half. But,
And I anticipate great chemistry on tomorrow's matchups from both these teams as St. Joe, as you mentioned, continue their district play. Brownsville Hanna getting set for the tournament coming up, and then of course their regular season schedule. So again, final score: Brownsville Hanna 7, St. Joe 3. Here are the full game highlights, and our player of the game will go to none other than. Want to make sure you get this one right here. Number 7, Raul Bermudez with a hat trick. And here are the full game highlights. And on the outside there, as they look for a second chance here. Nice shot there for Hanna for the goal. Bloodhound defender, they'll be able to control the ball as they send it far out. And a miscue there by Hanna defender there. Gives St. Joe an opportunity here as they get closer here. An opportunity for a goal here. Goes through the net for a goal for St. Joseph. Deflect this kick here. Won't get it, but gets a deflection. Brownsville Hanna had the ball there. Ricochets off the chest and on the outside there as they look for a second chance here. Nice shot there for Hanna for the goal. A nice put in there by number 7, Bermudez for Brownsville Hanna. Bit of fatigue going into lunchtime here before this matchup, and thankfully they got a new crew.
Yeah, but shout out to you guys. You guys have been here all day, man.
And we'll be here all day tomorrow as well, covering more games here at Stadium. Meanwhile, St. Joe get another header in. And that'll be a goal for St. Joe, especially the UIL schools, not getting too jittery and making these, how do I say it? Mistakes, I would say, early on in the season. St. Joe with a long attempt there, goes far off on the left-hand side, keep possession. And now they have an opportunity to set this one up in the middle. Hanna moving in full force. A good setup there by the Golden Eagles. Shot goes through, blocked by St. Joe. Hanna now with a second opportunity. Missed the pass there and gets picked up by to go through, which will stay 2-1 in favor of St. Joe. Hanna again with the ball. Need to find something here to create an opportunity. A shot attempt gets blocked again by St. Joe. Different team like we saw earlier this morning, but a better composed team. Meanwhile, Hanna going for a shot attempt, gets blocked again by St. Joe. That's probably his third block within the last 2 minutes, as Hanna now trying to get something going to score here on offense. Keep possession. And now they have an opportunity to set this one up in the middle. Hanna moving in full force. A good setup there by the Golden Eagles. Shot goes through, blocked by St. Joe. Hanna now with a second opportunity. Missed the pass there and gets picked up by to go through, which will stay 2-1 in favor of St. Joe. Hanna again with the ball. Need to find something here to create an opportunity. A shot attempt gets blocked again by St. Joe. Different team like we saw earlier this morning, but a better composed team. Meanwhile, Hanna going for a shot attempt, gets blocked again by St. Joe. That's probably his third block within the last 2 minutes, as Hanna now trying to get something going to score here on offense. Hernandez gets it for Machado. Machado swings it out. Here's the center pass there. Bermudez with an open shot. Gets it through for Brownsville. Hanna, and will get the equalizer. Elevated junior and senior, so
yeah,
hoping they can add more chemistry than they did last season, trying to leave that in the past. And of course, this showcase being the first step of
good pass.
Something to go here. St. Joe now able to convert, gets blocked by Hanna. And a great defense stopped their short kick there, and now goes high and out. Bermudez has an opportunity to take this one, as St. Joe defender now tries to go up against him. As he'll center it to one man, wide open for the header. That's gonna go in for the Golden Eagles. Another shot through, gets it in, feeds it off to the left side, and a goal again for Brownsville Hanna. Alexander Liscano coming in from the bench for Brownsville Hanna. Hanna sends this one far out. It's going to be a one-on-one running matchup here. And the speed of Hanna going to go over the goalie. Is it enough? A good pass there. That's going to connect again for the Golden Eagles. Hat trick for Bermudez. Regardless of the outcome, give me a second. Perez, an easy lay in there for Hanna. Now Hanna, complete dominance, gets their 5th goal. This one by Mauricio Perez. Playing at 10 a.m. tomorrow at the Sports Park. And St. Joe gets this one lobbed through. And it is enough for a goal for St. Joe. And they're going to call it offsides. Correction, they are going to mark the goal here. Middle. And we'll get quickly picked up. No, it's going to... And those were your full game highlights. Again, final score, Brownsville Hanna defeats Brownsville St. Joe 7-3. In our next matchup here in just a few moments, Brownsville Rivera going up against Sherland Rattlers.